welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute ultimate roadmap for building habits and becoming truly disciplined, completely without burning yourself out in the process. You know, if you've ever felt like getting your life together requires some kind of superhuman strength, well, stick around, because this explainer is going to completely flip your perspective. Section 1. The myth of discipline and why we fail to change. Look, we've literally all been there. You get this massive burst of motivation, you set these huge, lofty goals, and then you completely fall apart a few days later. Have you ever promised yourself, this is it, I'm finally going to change, only for the whole thing to unravel? You are definitely not alone in this, I promise you. Most people experience this exact same cycle of sudden inspiration that's immediately followed by total burnout. And this cycle, it happens because of a gigantic misconception. We've totally bought into this myth that discipline means forcing yourself to suffer every single day. You know, acting like some emotionless machine that just grinds nonstop. But guys, that's not real life. The reality is that real discipline isn't about being perfect at all. It's simply about setting things up to make it easier to keep going, especially on the really bad days. So here is our 5-step game plan. We're covering the myth of discipline, shrink your focus, lower the barrier, engineer your environment, embrace the bad days, and finally, stick to the system. Let's jump right in. Section 2, shrink your focus. Overloaded, not lazy. If you're struggling with discipline, let me just reassure you right now, it is not because you're lazy. Actually, it's because you're totally overloaded. We do this thing where we try to change our entire lives overnight. We say we're going to wake up at 5 a.m., work out every single day, study for 6 hours, eat perfectly healthy, meditate, read more, and somehow become incredibly successful all by Friday. When you try to carry that many goals at the exact same time, your brain literally just short circuits. So the fix here is shockingly simple. Just choose one. Just one. Instead of juggling 10 different things, narrow it down to one main focus. Maybe your goal right now is just improving your grades. Or, I don't know, maybe it's building consistency at the gym. Or even just fixing your sleep schedule. That is enough. When your focus gets smaller, your energy gets so much stronger. The people who look highly disciplined, they aren't actually doing everything. They're just doing a few important things super consistently. All right, section 3, lower the barrier, micro goals and momentum. Picture an intimidating goal, like telling yourself you absolutely must study for 5 hours or hit the gym for 2 hours. Your brain hears that and instantly hits the panic button. It wants to escape. So instead, you have to lower the barrier so much that you literally can't avoid it. Tell yourself, okay, I'll study for just 5 minutes, or I'll do exactly 10 push-ups, or I'll just write one single paragraph. It sounds almost entirely too easy, right? But that is exactly the point. Starting is absolutely always the hardest part. Think about how this plays out. At minute 1, you start that ridiculously easy 5-minute task. But by minute 5, this magical thing happens. Your brain naturally just wants to keep going. By minute 30, those initial 5 minutes have totally snowballed. That one paragraph turns into a full page. The absolute secret here is that action creates momentum, and momentum is what creates discipline. It's not motivation at all. Moving on to section 4, engineer your environment. Smart setup over willpower. Here's the thing. Most of us rely way too much on pure mental strength. But let's be honest, willpower is completely unreliable. Some days you have it, some days you absolutely don't. So instead of fighting that, change your environment so that discipline becomes the path of least resistance. If your phone distracts you, put it in another room. Boom, simple. If you want to wake up early, you actually have to go to sleep earlier instead of doom scrolling TikTok at midnight. Want to work out in the morning? Lay your clothes out right next to your bed before you sleep. These tiny changes remove the friction entirely. When a task is easier to start, you're just far more likely to stay consistent. Section 5. Embrace the bad days, returning quickly. You have to accept that bad days are gonna happen. It's inevitable. So many people skip just one single workout and immediately think, well, the whole routine is ruined, I already failed. But one bad day does not destroy your progress. What actually destroys progress is letting that one bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month. Look, some days you are going to feel exhausted or totally unmotivated, and you'll do the bare minimum. And you know what? That is completely okay. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep returning to the habit. Real discipline is just the ability to bounce back quickly. If you take absolutely nothing else away today, please remember this. Consistency beats intensity
every single time. Seriously, keep this mantra playing on a loop in your head on your worst days. A mediocre 20-minute workout that keeps your streak alive is infinitely better than an intense, perfect 2-hour workout that you never actually start.
And our final stop, Section 6, stick to the system, boring consistency. We constantly exhaust ourselves searching for that magical perfect app or the ultimate morning routine. People restart every single week and never stay consistent long enough to actually see any improvement. But the honest truth, most systems work perfectly fine. You just have to pick a simple routine and stick with it, even when it feels super repetitive and boring. Because believe it or not, boring consistency is the exact thing that creates real, lasting results. Ultimately, real discipline isn't about transforming into some superhero. It's really just about learning how to keep promises to yourself without needing a massive dose of extreme motivation every time. You don't need to completely overhaul your life tonight. You just need to take one tiny step and repeat it until it just becomes a natural part of who you are. Because at the end of the day, the folks who succeed aren't always the smartest or the most talented in the room. They're usually just the ones who simply refuse to stop. So rather than trying to fix your entire life all at once, ask yourself right now, what is the one micro step you absolutely cannot fail at today?